Good morning and welcome to BOTB HQ in Parsons Green, South West London. My name is Christian Williams, the presenter here at BOTB. And we're here this morning to judge the latest Dream Car competition, which ran from the 10th to the 16th of August 2020. And just before I hand over to our lawyer this morning, Charlotte, once again, massive congratulations to last week's Dream Car winner here at BOTB, Sam Kenwright, winning that unbelievable Lamborghini Urus. I'm now going to pass over to Charlotte Houston from Onside Law who will oversee the proceedings this morning.
Good morning, my name's Charlotte Houston from Onside Law and I'll be overseeing the judging this morning. Firstly, I can confirm that the competition data has already been sent to the auditors, Wilkins Kennedy. I would now like to introduce today's judges. First up, it's Matt Cannon.
Good morning, my name is Matt Cannon. I'm a senior county referee and footballer and we started pre-season training this Saturday.
Thanks, Matt. If you could now use the secure link provided and mark on the screen where you think the centre of the ball should be. We'll come back to you at the end for you to justify your position and for a final panel decision. Next up, Hugh Gilroy.
Good morning, my name's Hugh Gilroy. I'm a referee, mentor, tutor and observer.
Next up, Leo Donnellan.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Leo Donnellan. I'm an ex-professional football player, having been with Chelsea, Fulham and Leyton Orient.
Next up, Andy Braithwaite.
Thanks, Charlotte. I'm Andy Braithwaite. I'm a football referee, mentor.
Next up, Kieran Fitzgibbon.
Hi, my name is Kieran Fitzgibbon. I've played football for more than 30 years and I'm now a senior county referee.
And finally, Liam Walsh.
Okay, good morning. My name's Liam Walsh. I'm a retired referee. I was active for 23 years. I'm currently an observer.
Okay, judges, I will now ask you to each individually justify the position of your cross on the screen. Starting with Matt, please could you justify the position of your cross?
Thank you, Charlotte. Mine's the red cross in the middle of all the choices. The two players in shot, the player in red and white, I believe, is going to head the ball. He's his brows furrowed and he's pulling his head back, his arm up. And I think he's just going to come forward and head the ball. The player to the right of him in green and white, I think is looking up at the ball and he's sort of trying to push the red player off. His body's quite passive otherwise, so he's sort of more just sitting back and just trying to interfere with you by using his arm. And I've cross-referenced their two eye lines and I put the centre of the ball where my red cross is.
Thank you, Matt. Hugh, if you could please justify the position of your cross.
Thanks, Charlotte. Yeah, mine is the green cross. Agree with what Matt said. For me, I think the player in red and white is going to win this ball. He's going to play it with his head. He's kind of tensing his neck back, looking up quite focused on the ball. The player in green for me is just on looking. Don't think he's challenging for it. If anything, just making contact with the player. I just felt he'd be looking upwards and looking to lean towards this, meet it with his forehead. So I felt he was looking that little bit steeper in order to meet it with his head. And that's why I placed my cross where it is.
Thank you. Leo, if you could please justify the position of your cross.
Yes, Charlotte. There's two players in shot. The player in green, I think he's just on looking. He's not going to challenge for the ball. I think the player in red has got an unopposed challenge for the header, so he's going to head this ball. I think he's slightly leaning back. I don't think he's going to jump anymore. I think he's just going to power through with his head and head the ball. So I pull it a little bit lower than my colleagues, but looking at his eye line, that's where I think it is.
Thank you. Andy, if you could please justify the position of your cross.
Charlotte, yeah, as stated before, we've got the two players in shot. And the guy in red, I think, as Leo said, he is about to power his head through it, unopposed for the actual challenge itself. Taken quite a bit from the guy to the right in green and white. The sort of wideness of his gaze, left and right eye, gave me the actual angle where I've placed the centre of my ball, the orange cross, and that's basically what I've put there.
Thank you, Andy. Kieran, if you could please justify the position of your cross.
Thanks, Charlotte. Yes, I believe Two players in shot. The player in red is going to win the ball, just as my colleagues have said. I think he's going to power his head through it. He may not even need to leave the ground to do that. Player in green is not going to get to the ball. He just seems to be looking generally in the direction towards where the ball is. But I think the player in red is focused on the ball, taking the eye lines from both players. I've placed across where the grey cross is there. I've placed my position where the grey cross is there.
Thank you. And Liam, if you could please justify the position of your cross.
Thank you, Charlotte. My cross is the purple cross, and I've come to that conclusion 3 reasons. One is the stance of the red player who's about to head the ball unchallenged, the angle of the heads, and the eye line of both players. That's what I've taken into consideration, and that's why I've come up with the position I have.
Judges, please now come to a panel decision on the central screen. For your reference, the larger white cross is the calculated average of the 6 individual selections.
Okay, let's do the usual drawing in some lines from his eyes. Got some nice clear pictures of this guy's eyes. Got a narrow band there. We go red. I'm going to draw some more lines from this guy's eyes up to this one. As Liam said, this guy's sort of, his left eye, the right eye, we're looking at sort of half closed. I mean, obviously, where there's a group of us in the middle here and Liam's slightly further away. I just thought this guy wasn't looking that steeply, principally because I think this eye is half shut. And it would suggest to me that it's slightly lower, but I think we're all in agreement that the player in red is going to head the ball. I think that's in, I think we've all said that. And I think the way he's leaning back, I think as Leo said, he's coming forward to meet the ball. As Hugh said, all these neck muscles are all tensed up, ready to head the ball. It's just a distance away. I mean, Liam, again, you're the furthest away at the minute. And looking at the green player's eyes, could you sort of expand on what you said, if possible?
Yeah, I can. I just feel it's just like the camera angle for me, because you've got, obviously, he's just slightly further away. He looks like he's perhaps he's a little bit shorter than the guy in red. And I just felt it just tilts his head up just that little bit more.
Yeah, no, sure. Hugh, you're the furthest to the left of us, within sort of the compass of the other 5 choices. And you're thinking this player's, because his next back is looking slightly steeper. If I highlight your cross.
Yeah, for me, I just felt, as everyone's kind of agreed with, he's going to win the header unopposed. And I just felt, from looking at his eyes, he's looking up relatively steeply, not that one particularly, but this, his right eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, that eye, his right eye. And I just felt also, bear in mind, he's going to want to meet it with his forehead. He'd, I think, be looking up slightly in order to still lean and meet it, because I think he's still got a little distance to meet the ball.
Yeah. Leo, you're the lowest. I mean, do you feel the ball's coming in at pace to him?
Yeah, maybe, Matt. I just feel because he's leaning back, like most of the judges have said, he's not going to jump. I don't feel he's going to jump. I think he's just going to push forward with his body and head the ball. And he's going to use his forehead to do this. So I think it's just a touch lower than maybe what everybody else thinks.
Yeah. And Andy, you're over there with next to Hugh.
Yeah. Sorry, mate.
Sorry, I just putting the magnifier on top of your cross.
Okay. I was going with his wrinkled brow again, but to me, he's just slightly steeper than the place. Yeah, same as what Hugh said. Ball is coming in. It's almost central to his posture. He's going to come in and power it. But as I say, I just felt he was looking at slightly.
Yeah. And Kieran, you're next to me in the middle of this all. Have you got any more thoughts about the players and where they're looking?
Well, the only thing I did look at the player in green. I felt his eyes were looking in slightly different directions. So that's why I took a little less from him.
Yeah.
Sort of fixed on exactly where he was looking. I think the player in red is the one to get most information from. I agree with Leo that I think he's going to power through the ball. I just felt it perhaps was a little bit higher, but I think everybody's opinion there is justifiable. It's difficult to know exactly where the ball is from the player in green, in my opinion, because his eyes are looking slightly different directions. So it's all a matter of how the ball's coming into the player in red.
Yeah, I mean, if I remove Liam from the equation because he's the furthest away, it moves into all our choices, but it doesn't move a tremendous amount. It obviously drops down a bit and a bit to the left. What are our thoughts about that? Is Liam too far away, and does it skew the cross too much?
My opinion is that I don't think Liam's that far away. It's difficult to judge exactly where the ball is, so I would not say that he's that far away.
For me, I agree with Kieran. I didn't take loads from that green and white player.
Yeah.
If, as we're all saying, the red player is going to head it, I think the trajectory is still good with Liam's. I personally, you can't take a lot from that player in green and white because he's in the background and it's not quite clear where he's looking.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's quite a narrow band, and I mean, we could argue with taking Leo out and bring it a bit higher. So I don't think the average moves significantly enough to warrant taking anybody out, because I think I mentioned to Leo about the pace of the ball. If the ball is dropping into him in that sort of narrow field, I think, you know, anybody's position is justified. So on that, are we happy that we will use this calculated average from the choices, or do we want to shift it at all? Or
I think it's good now, and I think Liam certainly should stay in.
Yeah. It doesn't move significantly enough, I don't think.
Perfect, yeah. Okay, no.
Okay, so unless someone tells me differently and we have any more discussion, that we'll judge at the average.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
Agreed.
Okay, Charlotte, we've come to a panel decision and we've decided to judge at the average based on our 6 choices. I think the ball's in the correct position, and so we're done.
Thank you very much, judges. If you could please click submit, Matt, if everybody is happy. Thank you, judges. The coordinates selected are 1550 and 941. These coordinates will now be passed to Wilkins Kennedy to calculate the winner of the competition, and they will then inform BOTB. That concludes the judging process. Thank you.